Hello everyone, I'm RecV5,
And I am Sandman99.
and welcome to Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes, we've been talking about doing something new here for a while, and since we're just back from our Christmas break...
And just back from some computer repairs.
Yes, and we had to replace the hard drive in our computer here, because the old one was dying. And after much air pulling and difficulty, we managed to actually, I think, save most of our data too.
Yep.
But it took a few days. Anyway, Baldur's Gate 3. We'll start off by pressing a new game, and you'll notice that it says mods enabled.
Yep.
And that's because Larian actually has their own mod hosting site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's very easy. Like, you just go into the mod manager here, and you click, and then you get up the list of mods that they have up there, and there's like a lot.
Nice.
Like thousands of mods. And so what I did was I browsed through and I found a few kind of quality of life ones that I like.
Yep.
And so, I'm running maybe a dozen mods, because to tell you the truth, I didn't really think this game needed a whole lot in the way of modding, but there are some things that I found that I do like.
Fair enough.
So anyway, we'll start off by playing a new game with mods enabled. And we're going to play balanced, okay? Like, that's the default difficulty, I guess.
Yeah.
And Explorer is super easy. And Tactician would be like, I don't know, and then there's like Honor, which would be even harder.
Yeah, it'd be hard, very hard.
And then apparently you can also fully customize your difficulty, but I'm just going to play balanced. And balanced, to me, translates out to if you make a wrong move, or if you have an unlucky dice roll, or if you're standing in the wrong place at the wrong time, you are dead. Okay? This is actually a pretty hard game. I think, at least.
As were its predecessors.
And, like, it's a lot of it is just learning curve. Like, you walk into a situation where you don't know what's going to happen, and unless you make the right decision at the right time, or you're lucky, you're killed, right? Like, and it's very, very momentum based too. Like, if things start to go wrong early, it's very, very hard to recover, right?
Fair enough.
So we're going to see a fairly lengthy cinematic here, and you can't skip it. Like, it's not like Fallout 4 or something like that where you can press a button and skip all the pre-game nonsense. You have to kind of sit through this. So, but anyway, this game is apparently based on the 5th edition tabletop rules.
Yep.
Right? Which I'm not familiar with at all, really. I mean, I haven't played tabletop D&D in like over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the last set of books that I had were 2nd edition, which came out in like the 80s.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I think the last set of books I ever laid hands on were like 3.5, and they weren't even my books. They were actually Sweater Vest Gamers books.
Yeah. Yeah, because we used to play with the Sweater Vest Gamer once in a while. But, anyway, considerable differences. I mean, I played this game a little bit. I played through into as far as Act 3, right? Like, I've completed Acts 1 and 2 once.
Yep.
But, like I said, a lot of it, even the way that the base combat rules work is different. Because in the 2nd edition and 1st edition and even the earliest version of the game, basically your character's combat ability was summed up in what's called a THACO, or a number required to hit armor class 0.
Yep.
Okay.
And it wasn't until after 2nd edition that they flipped things around where positive armor classes were better.
Yeah, but anyway, we aren't going to reset the tutorials. Now, one of the things that I have done here is I've got some
Some things.
Some things, if I can remember how to get to it now. Let's see here. Origin. Custom. Yeah. Okay, custom.
Presets, you mean?
Well, no, there's...
I wouldn't know. I've never actually played Baldur's Gate 3 before.
No, well, I'm working on this. Okay, here we go. Custom. Origin. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so I could start off playing as a werewolf, or a lesser vampire spawn, or a full vampire. And I'm going to start off as a full vampire, I think. Okay. And then over here we can choose our race. And I like the drow race, actually. For a number of reasons. They have some nice special abilities. They have dual wielding. They have skill with certain weapons that I like to use and that kind of thing.
Fair enough.
And we're gonna go with like I've only played this with a couple of classes. I played it with the monk.
Yeah, you were always really big on the monks.
And I also have played it with the rogue character, right?
Yep.
But my one playthrough that I did do, you know, like as far as getting into, I haven't completed Act 3 yet, but
you're a big monk fan. You've always been a big monk fan.
But I have managed to, and you know what? The monk in this game is absolutely devastating. I mean, I have some experience with some of the other fighter classes because you have Karlach and Lae'zel in your party, and they're pretty powerful at higher levels, but the monk is superior to both of them, in my opinion, just because of some of the fantastic special abilities that they get.
Yeah,
right?
well, even back in the first edition days, I remember you used to talk about how the monk is an absolute killing machine at high levels.
That's right. Well, in first edition, the monk at low levels was a rather weak character, but at higher levels, the monk was like absolutely devastatingly powerful, like capable of killing with a single blow and that kind of thing. And they've actually done a lot with, they've almost added a sort of like a feat slots or something called key. And you get a key point or two every level that you gain, and you spend those points to do special maneuvers, which, you know, can build you up some very, very high damage, right? But anyway, we're going to go with the monk. I don't usually tinker with the base scores here too much.
Fair enough.
Because they basically allocate the scores for you.
Yep.
In what they consider to be the most advantageous way, I guess. Like, you get 27 ability points, and the computer pretty much automatically allocates them depending on what character class you decide to play, right?
Yep.
So a fighter type would have 17 strength and a little bit lower other scores, whereas the monk, I guess, dexterity and wisdom are both important scores. I'm
not exactly sure if this applies to this edition, but in previous editions too, certain classes such as monk had minimum attribute requirements.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me. And you have a lot of proficiencies, and these things, as far as I can tell, are not unlike the old skill system in the early versions of the game.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
You know,
from basic.
They'd be based on ability score checks, and that's what it looks like to me. A lot of things, and you basically have, except that here you have a specified certain grouping of ability checks, like skill proficiencies, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in the earlier books, they did have lists like this, but you could also make up your own skills too, within reason, so long as your DM or your dungeon master or your game referee agreed to it, right?
Yeah, and as long as you made things like within line of what else was there.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway,
but that was back. Like, I remember there was a passage in the rules cyclopedia, for example.
Yeah.
On this stuff.
But one of the biggest things is that in the original D&D, the first edition, the second edition, you had to have a thief class character in your group if you wanted to be able to do things like disarm traps and open locks and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, Your sleight of hand is actually a skill, and any character can pick locks and that kind of thing, although characters with higher dexterity will have a tendency to be more successful at it. And so I found that the monk character actually fills the niche of thieves quite nicely, and because they have a good wisdom score, they have the ability to, like they've got a decent survival and insight and all that kind of stuff, so they can, like detect traps and all that kind of thing, reasonably well. So anyway, we're gonna go to appearance now, and they have here body type. So basically, body type 1 is like a small female, I guess.
Yeah.
And body type 2 is like a small male, and body type 3 is a large female.
Or butch female.
And body type 4 is a large male.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. So we're going to go with the large female, because actually, you know what, the body models in this game don't look too bad.
Oh, okay.
And of course, you can also pick your identity. There's 3 choices. I don't know what the fuck that is, but anyway, male, female, non-binary, other. Okay. I guess they have to have some, that kind of stuff in here too, because everybody else is doing it these days. But anyway, voices. Now you can pick your voice.
What was that?
Let's hope the locals are friendly.
And there's like male and female voices.
Something just woke up down here.
Since this is a big girl, we'll have the big girl voice, eh? And of course, you can also choose your skin color from a whole slew of different things too, right? So anyway, when we get to faces, I have a mod that adds more faces.
Oh, okay.
And that's one thing too, is that I don't like near quite as well as, say, Fallout 4, is instead of just giving you, like, I can pick this head or this head or this head or this head or this head, I would have rather that they had given you the ability to sculpt your character's facial shape. And
yeah, like a set of sliders. Like, for example, going back to Oblivion.
Yeah, even Oblivion, you could do that, right? And that's how long ago now? 15 years ago or something?
2004, I think? Or maybe it was 2005. I can't remember.
20 years ago, right? 20 years ago, they had the ability to do that. So they, I'm a little disappointed that they didn't have that in here. They just have a bunch of pre-generated faces, right? But anyway, I do have some other pre-generated faces. And there's 2 versions of each face, one that is normal and one that is a vampire face.
Okay.
So this character, if I choose this particular face, looks like this.
Yeah, that's the vampire version.
Yeah, but the non-vampire version basically looks the same. The only difference is that when the character talks, you can see them flash some fang once in a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, or like there's this face and that kind of thing, right? So you go from a set of, I think it's 8 base faces, and this one adds like quite a few more,
lots
of faces, right?
Well, and why not, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna go with the crane vampire face. Okay. And then we got the skin color, we got the maturity. We'll give our character some freckles. How about that, hey?
Sure,
and,
why not?
We'll turn up the freckle intensity a little bit so you can actually see them a little bit. That there is like if you want white splotches and stuff on your character. And we got scars, of course. We'll pick scar number 1 here. And then, of course, you can pick your genitals, right? So there's vulva, default, vulva B, and then you can make a dick chick if you want to, or whatever, right? Like, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff like that, right? So we'll go with vulva B. And we're not going to hide clothes because that's not safe for YouTube. So, you can't see what vulva B looks like anyway. And we got our eye color already done, heterochromia, no tattoos. Well, all they have is face tattoos. They don't actually have body tattoos in this game either.
Otherwise you'd go for them.
Oh, for sure. I like body tattoos and stuff like that, right? I mean, even though you had to use mods in order to add them, I mean, I have that kind of thing for my Skyrim and Fallout 4 games, right? I like decorating up my character and making them look good, right?
Well, and making them look unique too, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. So we got, the one thing they do have is they've got a fair number of piercing options, like earrings and eyebrow rings and, you know, like nose studs and that kind of thing.
Yep.
So we're gonna go with this one. And eye makeup is fine. Eye makeup color is fine. Okay, we're gonna go with a little bit of yeah, well, let's go with that.
Something darker.
Something darker, and we'll turn that lip tint intensity up just a little bit like that. And we don't need metallic or glossy, and now we can pick hairstyles. And that's another thing too, is they have a decent number of hairstyle choices. There's 3 in a row here, so there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 28 times 3. So 72 hairstyles.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
So that's pretty good. And I'm kind of partial to this one.
The whole messy part thing?
The whole messy part thing, yeah. But another one that I do kind of like too is, if I can find it here. Here we go. This one. Which I think suits this face shape pretty well.
Yep.
Right? See, and that's one thing that bothers me a bit too, is that they went to a lot of time and effort to make a fairly decent looking body model, but all of their armors are like this, right? You know what I mean? Like they like for this monk character, they could have had like the pants, and then maybe had like sort of like a halter top or a sports bra type of top or something like that.
Yeah.
Because this character is very muscular and has a six-pack, like when the character is wearing something where you can actually see it.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a very fit, very strong-looking character, right? Okay, hair color. Of course, you can, you know, like you have a lot of different options for hair color, including base color and highlights and all that kind of stuff. But I don't usually bother too much with that. So we'll review the character, and we're gonna rename the character, and we're gonna say,
Gotta lean over and use the keyboard there.
yeah. Can't type.
Typing with one hand is hard.
Yeah, okay.
Especially leaned over a recliner.
So now we have to build our guardian, right? Because there's a spirit guardian kind of in this thing. And so what we're going to do is, of course, we're drow type, and we can make this one, we'll say body type 1, female, and the voice.
Remarkable.
Good luck.
There's the voice. Okay, and the faces, we can choose the same face, right? So there's the same face. And we can make the skin color the same. Right? See, the body type 1 or smaller female tends to be a bit curvier, and also less muscle tone and that kind of thing. Whereas the body type 3, the large female, you know, still has some curves, but tends to be much more muscular and strong and fit looking, right?
Well, I guess so too, though. If you're a monk and you're a killing machine,
Yeah. Okay. So we can turn on things like heterochromia if you want, and then you can pick your color for your left eye or your right eye, right? So if we want to say we'll go with our right eye, and we'll make our right eye, there, see?
Yep.
Or like that. We'll go with that, sure. Okay, piercings. Okay, well, we'll pick some piercings for our guardian character too. We'll maybe make the piercings a little bit different. We'll go with the rings on the ears, eh? The spiky rings on the ears? Oh yeah, okay. There we go.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. And of course you can change your eye makeup and your lip makeup and all that kind of stuff as well if you want to. Choose your hairstyle. You got the same number of choices, right? So you can go with like a ponytail kind of a thing like this if you want to. Doesn't really matter to me. Anyway, so there we go. Venture forth. So we're done with the character creation part now. And I mean, I know I kind of rushed through that, but I know that when this game first came out, I watched a couple of people play through it, and they spent like an hour creating a character.
Whereas you probably already have a good idea of what you want to make your character look like.
I basically come up with a design that I like, and then I tend to repeat that design over and over. Right?
Yep. But hey, that's better than me. I'd just be like default, start.
Yeah, well, you know what though? Like I like to play female characters in this type of game, especially if they have a decent body model and like some fits that complement it. Because if I'm going to spend like a few hundred hours playing something like this, I want to look at a character that is attractive and nice to look at, right?
Fair enough.
And I'm not really pretending that I'm the guy or anything like that. Like lots of people will create the super muscle guy or whatever because in their mind's eye, I guess they're fantasizing that they're actually the person in this thing. Whereas I don't quite get that deeply into it. I'm more just kind of
along for the ride.
Along for the ride. I'm playing the game and being kind of told a story at the same time, right? Which is why I actually like this game quite a bit, in spite of I do have a few criticisms of it, some of which are things like lack of options in character creation and that kind of thing.
Yep.
But for the most part, it's pretty good. Like it's one of those games that I could play for, over and over for many years, kind of like the way that I play Fallout 4 or Skyrim, right?
Yep.
Like it could actually stand next to those two games, maybe. Anyway, we got the big bad evil mind flayer kidnapping people and infecting them with mind flayer larvae, which they put in through their eye. And then these Githyanki guys show up riding red dragons because they really don't like the mind flayers, and they basically it's their life's mission to exterminate all of them, right? If they possibly can. And of course, red dragons are fire breathers. And he's about to crash into a cliff, so he hurriedly puts together a couple more of those navigation things and pops out of existence. And I haven't actually fought a dragon in this game, but they certainly appear to be big and scary looking.
Well, of course.
So this is Lae'zel. who for some reason her pod opened and let her out first. And Lae'zel is a Githyanki, right?
Yep.
And I guess she is a typical specimen of them, like in appearance. And she's a difficult person to have in the group. Like she's very, I don't know, it's kind of salty and sour kind of thing, you know?
Ah.
Yeah, it doesn't get along well with others. Anyway, now I'm getting out. Okay. And another thing I don't like is, like, I don't mind this over-the-shoulder view, and I don't mind being able to zoom back like this, you know, in tactical type situations. But for interacting with things in the environment, I find that their system is just a little bit clunky.
Would you prefer a first-person
Yeah,
view for that?
Absolutely, yes. You should be able to toggle between first and third person.
Just for easier interaction, huh?
Yeah.
Although then again, too, you know, your mileage may vary too, right? You're a big controller player.
Yeah.
Even if for a game like this.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't play with a mouse and keyboard. I just can't. Anyway, there's not too much going on in this first room. I can have a look at my inventory here. I can bring up, like, all of the menus are basically based on rings like this. Mm-hmm. And that's actually a pretty slick control method. So I got the 11 gold pieces I just picked up. I have an alchemy pouch, but I don't have any items in it. Like, all these are containers, and you can put stuff in them, right? Mm-hmm. So that your inventory bar isn't all cluttered up with every single item that you pick up, right?
Yep.
And what I also just picked up here is an arrow of fire. So if I had some sort of projectile weapon, whether it be a crossbow or a bow or whatever, I'd be able to shoot this thing, and it does like a large amount of damage, right? Like more than what a typical crossbow bolt or arrow might do, right?
Yep.
And of course, I've also got, like, I picked up this gem which I added to wares, because, like, adding things to wares as you pick them up is a bit of a labor-saving device that you know, like, allows you to mass sell stuff that you don't want to keep, right?
Right.
With more or less a single button press, right? So anyway, we'll wander in here, and then we have stuff to interact with. So there's that goblin, and that goblin has a few pieces of gold. And then if I use the D-pad, either right or left, I can sort of cycle between things that are within reach to interact with them, right? Which is why it would be way handier to be able to just go into first person and directly target the thing I want to interact with.
Yep.
Which I think is something that these guys should have been maybe looking at doing, you know, because even going all the way back to things like Morrowind or even earlier, you could, from first-person view, interact with things, right?
Images of goblins, their habits and histories flash into your mind.
And I don't know whether there's any value in reading these little tablet things or not, like game value, you know, or whether they're just a atmosphere kind of a thing.
But it doesn't hurt, I guess.
Well,
if there is a benefit to it, at least might as well get it.
Well, the thing is that this game too has a tendency to have a lot of gotcha moments, and where if you forgot to do the important thing like 10 hours ago, well, now you're fucked because you didn't do that thing, or you didn't pick up that item, or you didn't save that person, or you know what I mean, like
or whatever else.
Yeah, like or there are some situations you can get into where you're even just in dialogue with some of the ultra powerful entities that you can interact with. And, you know, like those, if you piss off that entity, or if you aren't, you know, cooperative or deferential enough or whatever, that entity can just basically wipe out your party with a wave of their hand, kind of thing, because they're basically gods, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to, you know, like, even if you make a wrong choice in dialogue or fail a persuasion check or a deception check or something, like, ability checks are extremely important in this game, right? Which is why, actually, I got a little bit of a cheat. This is the combat based set of ring menus, right? You bring them up with the bumper buttons, and you'll notice that I've got quite a few here. But one of the ones I have is ability score boost. Okay, and so if I choose that, well, now I can choose. I can increase my ability scores by 20, by 10, by 5, by 1. So I usually will increase all of my ability scores by 1. And this is not in the level up screen. It'll still show your original ability scores. But now you'll notice that my strength, my dexterity, constitution, like all my ability scores are 1 point higher. Right?
Yeah.
And you get bonuses based on every even number. So that means now that my dexterity, you know, like I use my dexterity for my attack bonuses and such, for my monk attacks, melee attacks, and as well as missile attacks. And now my attack bonus is +6, right? But anyway, and another thing that I'll do is you have the ability to, let's see here, strength, constitution, okay. So you also have the ability to increase these scores by individually as well, right? Like increase dexterity by 1, increase strength by 1, and so on. So I'm going to increase strength by 1. And then dexterity is already at an even number, so that's fine. We'll increase constitution by 1. And we'll increase intelligence by 1. And we'll increase wisdom by 1. And we'll increase charisma by 1. Okay. Then, of course, you also have the ability to completely reset. You know, like remove all of those boosts as well. Right, if you change your mind and don't want to do that. But there, now all of my ability scores are even numbers. So anyway, what that does is it helps you to be a little bit more survivable in what is a very, very harsh world. Because like I said, this game is very unforgiving. I don't know whether the tabletop game is like this, but this game, you know, plays according to the you know, a computerized version of the rules, I guess.
I think it depends too on who's DMing and what scenario you're running too,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But actually, that kind of reminds me of something you could do in like the really old DOS D&D games, where you could set your character stats to like all 18s across the board.
Yeah.
From this place, you'll free us.
The exposed brain quivers in expectation.
So you're always making ability score checks as well. This goes on more or less constantly, right?
A newborn. Born new from this husk.
You know no creature like this.
I just failed one there.
That is more brain than person.
Okay. Well.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us.
That guy's not looking so good. Okay. Well, we'll try and pry the brain out of the skull. What do you think? Okay, and we have a +4 dexterity bonus, so we can add to our roll. And they give you a difficulty class, and I'm not sure how they arrive at the difficulty class, right? Whether that's something that you'd have to learn by reading the rule books and
Some
stuff.
kind of internal mapping.
Yeah. Because most of the ability score checks that I'm familiar with from the early edition rules, you had to roll equal to or less than your ability on a d20.
Yeah.
And any bonuses that you had for that ability score, well, you would subtract good bonuses or add penalties. So if you were making a dexterity check and you had like a +2 dexterity bonus, well, you'd subtract 2 from your roll in order to be, determine your success against your dexterity. And the difficulty class number, I guess, would be whatever your appropriate ability score was. But here, I don't know how they arrive at this difficulty class, right? Like,
yep.
But there's lots of different things. There's some that are really easy that are like 5 or 6.
Some that are moderate like this.
Some that are moderate like this. And some that are like extremely hard. Well, I've seen some that are actually difficulty class 30.
From the skull.
Like you need a lot of bonuses in order to be able to get a 30 on an ability score check, right?
Subservient should it prove a threat.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to drop it. And this is what I'm talking about, this decision. The reason I decided to just drop it without, trying to mutilate the brain is because of an event that takes place like way later in the game. Don't want to give away a spoiler, but there's a consequence to this particular decision that doesn't make itself apparent until a long, long time from now. Okay? Even though this particular thing seems like a pretty minor and small thing, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll go. Let's go.
We are going to the helm.
So this critter is what the hell are they called? They're called can't remember what they're called now. But anyway, we'll operate the elevator and we'll head out this way.
I guess if you'd have made your check, you would know what kind of critter it is.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I'm just trying to remember what kind of critter it was. Look at the dragons, eh?
Yep.
They found their way to wherever this is, too.
This is your end.
Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through.
Yes, one of the things that the mind flare parasites allow us to do is communicate telepathically.
Yep.
You are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
Okay.
We
Well,
carry mind flayer parasites. Unless we escape, unless we are cleansed, our bodies and minds will be tainted and twisted. Within days, we will be Geich, mind flayers.
okay, there must be something we can do.
Nothing until we escape. That must be our priority. First, we exterminate the imps. Then we find the helm and take control of the ship. As for that thing, it will remain tame as long as it believes we are thralls. It may be of use in the fight to come.
Fun time.
Yep, we get to try out our fledgling character's combat abilities here. And your initiative, okay, if we look at the character sheet here, it says initiative +4
Yep.
on the right hand side of the screen there. And that's based on your dexterity plus other abilities. Like later on, when you get to choose additional feats and that kind of thing, there's a feat that I like to pick which gives me another +5 to dexterity.
Yep.
Because believe me, having a high initiative number
is extremely important.
Is crucially important. Because having the ability to act before your enemies can act is absolutely critical, right? So anyway, you go into kind of like a tactical turn-by-turn thing, which I really like. This is a little bit similar to what Dragon Age Origins was like.
Yep.
You know, kind of. And I have this ability called Flurry of Blows, right? Which allows me to make 2 attacks. So I'm going to use Flurry of Blows on this thing.
Blood follows me everywhere.
And that'll be enough to kill it.
Yep. And even though I'm carrying that staff, I don't tend to use the staff very much, right? And then, of course, I can make a main hand attack still with my staff, too, if I had the ability to move close enough to actually do that.
Yep.
Right? I can also loot this thing, and it has a scimitar, which I don't really want to use, but I can pick it up and add it to wares, so I can sell it to raise money to buy other important things like healing potions and stuff like that later, right?
Yep.
And I can't move far enough to be able to do anything else, so I guess I'll just finish off my movement right here. And I don't have a missile weapon or anything, so I can't do anything else. But anyway, vampire or like monk characters have a lot of abilities. Like I still have, even though I still have another attack available, which I can't use because I lack the movement, I could spend that action, because it looks like you get actions and bonus actions, right? So, you know, things like making an attack are an action, but then if you are dual wielding, well, then making an attack with your offhand is a bonus action, right? Or you can make an attack and then drink a healing potion or something like that, so long as I haven't used up these things. And I don't quite have it all figured out just yet.
Yep.
But I know that this costs a bonus action plus a key point. Okay, so I spent a key point basically to you know, like use this special ability. But anyway, okay, so our whatchamacallit there is going to go and attack this thing here. And of course, it isn't really a true party member, so you can't do like looting and stuff like that with it, right?
Time to strike.
And then we have Lae'zel, and we'll get Lae'zel to loot that. And you can actually send things directly to other characters too, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna send that to my character, because it's actually more useful to my character than to a melee character. And Lae'zel happens to be armed with a bow as well, so I can make a missile attack here. Although Lae'zel is actually kind of shit with a bow, like...
Well, you know.
Okay. So here we go. So now I've got 1 key point left, so I could do another flurry of blows if I wanted to. Or I can do stuff like a special thing, because my character is a vampire. I can use a vampire bite attack, right?
Shouldn't have made me your enemy.
You proved surprisingly adequate in battle.
So there you go.
To the helm.
Oh, and there's a light crossbow, so I'm going to pick up the light crossbow for now. And we can loot these other guys. Okay, that one's empty. And hand axe, we'll add that to wares. Okay, nothing. Interesting looking environments, but nothing I can pick up. There's another dead guy there with a gold piece. And these things are healing things, so if one of us got hurt, you could activate this thing and it would heal you, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Won't be able to take another dragon attack. We need
Okay.
to get out before it's too late.
So this person has a potion of healing and a short sword on them, so we're just going to add the short sword to wares. If I was playing a rogue character, I'd pick up that short sword, because dual wielding short swords is actually a very good method for a rogue character to fight. And
I
what I
see.
noticed in this set of rules, and that this game plays by, is that like in the early editions of the tabletop game, thieves and their subclasses were not really terribly good at toe-to-toe hacking, right?
Yep.
You know, like that was a good way to get killed.
Sense of it.
But in this version of this game, they're actually pretty decent at it, right? Okay, so looks like there's some buttons I could push if I wanted to meddle with this thing, right? Let's push this button.
Psionic energy radiates from the prisoners, but they do not react.
Okay, nothing happened when I pushed that button. What happens if I push this button? Oh.
Well, that looked like it made things better.
Well, now they're dead, so I can loot them. See, that one there had a ring, so I can add it to wares. And that one had a gold piece. Oh, we got a live one.
You! Get me out of this damn thing! We have no time for stragglers.
Yeah, Lae'zel's a bitch, right? She doesn't care about anybody except herself. Okay, well, let's see if we can figure out how to open this thing.
Alien. Nothing looks familiar.
Of course, this character's not the brightest bulb on stage, right? Like, the intelligence happens to be the lowest ability score this character has, right?
Try that contraption next to the pod. They did something to it when they sealed me in. Hurry! Please!
Okay. Okay.
The
Any
console
buttons to
appears
push?
dormant.
Look for a
The
switch.
mechanisms are completely unrecognizable at first, but then you spy an empty socket.
Okay, let's hit it.
The console remains dormant.
Nothing happened. So percussive maintenance didn't work.
Ah, shit, percussive maintenance always works.
Well, it didn't work this time.
Socket must power this thing.
So whatever fits in that socket must power this thing. Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, dead thrall. There's a key and a scimitar that we'll add to wares.
How many hosts?
Intellect Devourer, that's what those things are called.
Ah.
We have our own pet Intellect Devourer called Us. Okay, look at that. See, there's another person in a Mind Flayer pod.
Dazed woman is trapped inside the pod. She doesn't notice you.
Okay. Maybe there's a way to open that one too. Hey, look. More buttons. Let's push a button and see what happens.
As you place your hand on the pod, you hear something. A presence connected to the pod, commanding the person inside to change.
Uh-oh. Oh, wow, look at that. Maybe I shouldn't have pushed that button.
Well, it seems to be working out perfectly well for you.
Not so much for her, though.
Change her. Changed at the pull of a lever. How? If we are not purified, this may be our fate.
Yeah. Boy, that would suck.
George, is this to be our fate?
Okay, well. Oh, look, there's a chest. This is the tutorial chest,
Okay.
which is often referred to by modders. So much so that, like, they put things into the tutorial chest, like this backpack full of crossbows, which I'm going to take, and a couple of potions of healing. But yeah, like there's a lot of mods that add weapons or add armor selections or stuff like that, and they all get added to this tutorial chest for some reason. So much so that I actually had to get a mod that allows me to summon the tutorial chest once I'm through this section.
Wow.
So that if I add something partway through a playthrough, I can get access to it. But what I just did is I just picked up the box full of crossbows.
Yep.
And so if I go over here into this row, this is where you can control what you've got equipped for weapons.
Yep.
So if I go ranged main hand, now I've got a number of hand crossbows that I can pick from. And I'm going to pick Father's Lesson here for my main hand crossbow, right hand. It has a +2 bonus to initiative, and that's why I want it, right? So then I can go to my ranged offhand, and there is a paired crossbow to that one called Bloodseeker, okay, which gives me a +1 bonus to initiative.
Just stacking those initiative bonuses.
That's right, because you know what? Now you'll notice my initiative number is +7.
Yep.
Right? And I can also dual wield hand crossbows. And Drow are particularly adept at that kind of thing, and hand crossbows happens to be one of the weapon skills that you start with if you choose a Drow character, which is one of the reasons why I like to play the Drow character.
I see.
Anyway, I'm going to send this light crossbow here over to Lae'zel.
And maybe she'll be equally bad with it?
Well, no, the light crossbow is actually a more damaging weapon than... Because, you know what, they redid the damage and stuff on these things. Like, in first and second edition, a longsword was basically a one-handed sword that did 1d8 points of damage, right?
Yep.
Whereas a longsword in this game appears to use a 1d10 and is a two-handed weapon, right? And two-handed swords still exist, but they're called great swords in this game.
Yeah.
And of course, the light crossbow used to do 1d6 of damage, I think.
That's right.
In the basic games, like the old games. And now it does 2 to 9, whereas the short bow there does 2 to 7. And actually a short bow, there used to be no difference damage-wise between a crossbow and or a light crossbow and a short bow. Mainly, I'll just add that to wares. The main thing that would make them different would be their characteristics if you improved your skill. Eldritch Rune. Okay, we'll pick that up.
Yeah, as well as some logistical differences in when and how they can be fired.
Well, yeah, and also ranges would be different and that kind of thing. Like in first edition, they introduced weapon specialization, which is, that version's equivalent to weapon skills, I guess. And like point blank range for a light crossbow is considerably lengthier than point blank range for a short bow.
Yeah.
Right. That being said, the short bow could fire twice per turn, whereas the crossbow could only fire once per turn. But the crossbow, with specialization and all that kind of stuff, would hit harder with the one shot that you were able to fire, right? Where is the thing now? Oh yeah, we walked by it. Okay, I'm not so sure now what's going to happen to her if I press buttons here without thinking about this.
The console appears dormant.
Okay, well, we'll insert the rune.
The console hums to life. But
Okay.
what is its purpose? Will it free the captive? Transform her like that other unfortunate?
Well, let's try Arcana. We have a total bonus of +0 because we're not very smart.
But you're smart enough to figure this one out, apparently.
We got a lucky dice roll, yeah.
The pulsing glow and organic lines of the device make it seem more like a beating heart than a machine. This device is different from the one that cause the other captive to transform. Perhaps it will open the nearby pod.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah, well, you know, percussive maintenance didn't work.
Yeah.
Suddenly, you feel a hideous squirming in your head. A parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
Okay. Illicit wisdom. See, you gain these mental powers and stuff too, right?
Yep.
So basically, this difficulty class is so easy, the only way I'm going to fail it is if I roll a 1.
Yeah.
Which is like a critical failure, right?
You feel the biomechanical brain of the console process your command and yield to it. A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
Problem solved.
Thought I was done for. I thought that damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
Your mind lurches into her thoughts. Her gratitude is mixed with wariness, because you have a Gith with you.
You keep dangerous company.
Well, you kind of need that.
Fair point.
Shadowheart and
Looks like
Lae'zel
there's
don't like
plenty
each
of
other.
fun.
It's basically
Let me
hate
come
at
with you.
first sight, right?
We can get off this ship and watch each other's backs along the way.
Okay, let's get going.
Shadowheart.
And that's why your persuasion checks, like that's one of the reasons why I like to play the rogue or the charlatan background. And I think I chose charlatan background for this one because it helps with your persuasion checks, because sometimes
Nothing. Trust
you
me.
have to use those just to stop your party members
to
from
get to the helm.
basically
Now.
like fights can
She's
break
right.
out within your party.
Lead on.
Yep.
If you can't get these people to see reason and play nicely together, you know? And it can be really annoying to lose a party member because they decided that they didn't like each other and then one kills the other or something, right? And that's something that I'm not a huge fan of, is that you kind of get railroaded into some of these things sometimes. Which is another one of my, kind of little bit of
Faint images
criticism
appear in
of
your
this
mind.
game, right?
A brain,
Yep.
a Githyanki warrior,
You know,
and centuries.
the only thing I'll
of
say is that at
darkness.
least you do have some possible control over what actually happens, because if you can make your appropriate ability check, you can, have some influence over how the
We're
encounter
nearing the helm.
know,
Once inside,
ends, right?
do as I say. Who put you in charge? I'll trust my own
Yeah.
Cane Yank.
I'm not sure what Lae'zel just said there, but I think she just called Shadowheart a nasty name in Githyanki.
Yeah,
or
some
whatever,
kind of
right?
slur.
Yeah.
Thrall, connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
Connect the nerves. Nerves. We will connect them.
Okay, but first we have to fight our way there. And whose turn is it first here? Me. Okay. You don't want to step in these areas here because they're on fire.
Yeah,
So
and
they-
stepping into
they
fire
could-
is a bad
yeah,
idea.
Stepping in the fire is a bad idea, okay? But I can go over here and I can loot this dead person. And we'll grab their armor and add it to wares, and we'll grab their short sword and add it to wares. And then I don't think I have enough movement to make it there, so I'm gonna make a main-handed
Ranged attack.
ranged attack. Yeah, here we go. Ranged attack, main hand. And of course it automatically, and you can toggle that later. Like I don't think you can toggle it in the tutorial, but if I bring it up here, see how it says dual wielding attacks, right?
Yep.
Well, if I don't want to shoot the same enemy with both bolts, I can adjust that so that I can fire one with my main hand attack, and then if that enemy is still alive, I can choose to attack it again with my offhand, right?
Yep.
And the same applies for melee weapons, like if you're dual wielding short swords or daggers or something like that, right? Okay, it's Lae'zel's turn. And I guess Lae'zel will shoot this thing. And miss. Well,
Yep.
because she is kind of garbage. She's a melee character, right?
Yep.
Like her specialty is
Pointy end into bad guy.
yeah, exactly. She's your kind of character, actually. Oh, now it's Us's turn, and Us will go over here and can't do anything else. And so anyway, Shadowheart is also a cleric, right? So a form of spellcaster that can do melee and can wear armor and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But she is not terribly effective early on in the game, at least in melee combat. She's better with spells, and they have also changed things in here because at one time, I think in first edition, they had started to introduce things like cantrips, which are basically level 0 spells. Mm-hmm. And they had rules as to how many cantrips a spellcaster could cast in a day and that kind of thing. In much the same way that they had rules for how many spells of what levels a spellcaster can cast in a day. Well, here, it appears that they've redone the spellcasting thing so that you can see at the bottom in that bar down there, it says spell slots. And basically what Shadowheart has here is she has 2 spell slots. And you can cast any spell that requires a spell slot. And as you can see here, the Healing Word requires a spell slot. So does Guiding Bolt. You know what I mean? But there's also cantrips, which like Firebolt, which costs an action, but does not cost a spell slot.
Yep.
Okay. But you also have to make an attack roll. Like a lot of spellcasters' spells now require an attack roll to be successful.
Yep.
So, you know, like this Firebolt, for example, she had to make a successful attack roll in order for that to work, right?
Yep.
I kind of like that idea, actually. You know, like I always thought that in the early versions of the game, spellcasters were severely limited at lower levels. But when you have the ability to, you know, like at least cast things like that Firebolt, you know, over and over again as an attack,
You can remain a significant player in the combat.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like and even wizards have something like that, like a Firebolt or something like that. And so once you blow your sleep spell or your whatever, right, then at least you can still participate in the combat, right? Instead of just being the guy that carries all the stuff.
Or at least participate in the combat without significant risk for death for yourself.
Yeah, well, it allows you to continue to, you know, like be able to play your way, right? Okay, I don't think we have any more valid targets within reach here, so we'll just keep going.
Yeah, the magic user walks up to the fighter in plate mail with the magic user's 18 strength and strikes the fighter down.
Yeah.
Right? That's totally how it goes.
Well, I mean, in this game, magic user, like pure wizard type characters, are still next to useless in melee combat, right? But at least with the you know, like magical abilities and things that they have, it gives them some more playing options so that they I'm just having a look here to see if there's anything worth picking up over here. No. Okay, Lae'zel can loot that imp on her way by. I'll go and loot this guy. You know, at least your character can continue to do something helpful. You know, rather than just being a burden on the team, right? So yeah, I kind of liked that particular thing that they did that's different in this game compared to the older versions.
On the move.
And I would imagine it would be a bit of a learning curve to learn the rules for the tabletop game, you know, like all over again. Because basically you'd be starting from scratch, because it looks like everything's been turned on its head compared to what the old game was like, right?
Well, they had like a basic book they released at some point, and I remember taking a skim through it at one point, and like it didn't seem that alien, but it seemed like it was in some ways a return to old things and in some ways a departure from them.
Yeah. But anyway, I would say that, you know, it's the same for learning anything new, though there would be a bit of a learning curve, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna head this way. We're gonna let that mind flayer and this guy here
fight it out.
Fight it out, because they're obviously heavyweights and we're not. Oh, look at that! I made it to the next.
Hurry before they strike.
And of course, if we don't... Oh, okay, I guess I'm out of time. I'm out of movement. See, you can also do something called dash, which doubles your movement rate, but it also uses up an action. Hey, look at that. Lae'zel actually killed something with her crossbow.
At a reasonable distance, too.
Yeah. Well, the light crossbow has a little bit more range than the hand crossbows do.
Let's finish this.
Okay, so let's see if we can head up here and loot that. Okay, he doesn't have anything to loot. But we'll cast another firebolt here. I think that guy's within range.
Yep.
And of course, in the tutorial, your chance to hit is much better than in the normal gameplay. Because it's the tutorial, right? It's supposed to be a little bit easier pace, I guess. And I am out of movement, so I guess I will just shoot this thing. Anyway, a drow rogue with these weapons, from shooting from ambush, is absolutely deadly, right? And of course, you can also pick subclasses of rogue too, right? And one that I like to play is assassin, because you can really boost your damage when you make ambush attacks, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's very important to have that high initiative number, and you know, if you're going to play that way with a rogue type character, you need to be very good at sneaking, right?
Yeah.
Onward.
Are there any other enemies to shoot at here? I don't think so. Oh shit, I missed something. There's some stuff to pick up over there. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do the dash thing then. Here we go. We're gonna dash. We're gonna go over here.
I wonder if the gods are watching me.
And then we're gonna pick up these things. These are pretty cool items, these void bulbs. And then this is a caustic bulb. They're basically grenade type weapons. With special effects, right? Okay, well, and it doesn't really make any difference who you reach the console with. No, that one didn't have anything. How about you? Oh, okay. Can we make it? Yes, we can. So we'll go up here and we'll use the transponder.
The Helm's alien transponder. You've made it in time.
Okay. So, a little bit of a loading screen here, but you know what I've found since we replaced the
dying hard drive?
The dying hard drive is that this game plays very smoothly now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with the old drive. It was stuttering.
Yep.
Because it was having trouble reading data off the disk.
Yeah, that was an old Seagate Barracuda drive, 2 terabytes, and I believe it was 7,200 RPM. But a really, really, really old one.
Yeah.
And then this new one is like a Western Digital Gold 8 terabyte drive, 7,200 RPM, but they're enterprise drives. They make noise and they vibrate a bit, but they also have reasonably good performance for a mechanical hard drive, and they store lots of data and they last a long time, which is why I like them.
Yeah. So there are a few people watching this ship crash, right?
Oof.
Okay. Well,
that's convenient.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, your head would be in the sand.
Yeah, it would have been like holy negative acceleration, Batman.
As you wake, the tadpole squirms in your skull.
Okay, well, check ourselves for
Infection
injuries.
More or less intact. A miracle, given everything you've been through. But it'll all be for nothing if you don't find help soon. The tadpole is a death sentence, and the clock is ticking. You need a cure.
Okay, well, I guess, and if you hold down the right stick, you can look for stuff, right? See how it says Mangled Fisher?
Yep.
Although he's behind me, he's right there, right? And it highlights him, kind of in yellow. And you can loot him and take his gold, because he isn't going to need it anymore.
Yeah, he got killed by the crash.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's Shadowheart. Okay, we'll wake her.
You're alive. I'm alive. How is this possible?
Yeah.
I remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
Okay, so now what?
First things first. We need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer. We might have escaped, but we still have these little monsters in our heads.
Okay, you want to stay together?
We need each other.
See, Shadowheart
And
is
we
not
both
a
know what's
bad
at stake.
character. She's a
Nothing
little
better
bit
company.
at the beginning of the game, at least. She's a little bit on the selfish side, you know, but she's not like a pain in the
One
ass
thing,
like some of the others
just
can be,
before we go.
right?
I wanted to thank you again for freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod, but you didn't. I'll remember that.
And the fact that I saved her
Lead the
at
way.
the beginning helps her affinity, I guess, a little bit too, right?
I see.
You know, like she likes me better than she would if I had passed by and not helped.
Yep.
So every now and then you'll see slip into darkness, and then you'll see that condition crossed out when I cross from darkness into light again.
Yep.
So anytime I step into some shadows, I actually gain some advantages because of my vampire nature, right? It's just a hat. And one of the advantages is advantage, actually. And what advantage is it allows you to roll 2 dice and take the better result.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So, for example, if I'm making an attack roll from the shadows here like this, well, I get an advantage on my attack.
Yep.
And there's also some ability checks are affected by it as well. Okay. So as you can see, there's all sorts of things that I can spot. Right?
Yep. Little things, backpack over there.
Yeah. And if we look in here, we're going to take the fish and we're going to send it to camp. And the
You
reason
gotta have something to eat.
the reason that we do that is because when you want to rest, well, you need camp supplies.
There must be a settlement somewhere nearby.
Okay, and this is a book, and they sort of did a little bit like Oblivion or Skyrim, you know, where they have books that have some lore in them.
Mm-hmm.
Although they tend to be a lot briefer than the books in Oblivion and Skyrim, which sometimes can be several pages, right? Like a dozen pages or more.
Yeah.
These usually are 1, maybe 2 pages. The longest one I remember seeing was maybe 4 pages. And this is basically a song to one of the gods. Can't remember what she's called now, but anyway, one of the gods, like the sea gods, kind of.
Yep.
And so you can also go actions, and I'm going to pick that book up and add it to wares, because you can sell them too, right? Not all treasure is gold. I'm going to pick up that water, and I'm going to send these apples to the camp. And the reason I picked up that water is because you can throw it like a grenade, and if there happens to be a patch of ground that's on fire or something, well, then you can put out the fire on the ground with the water, right?
Yep.
Anyway, perfumed letter. So if we read the letter, well, it looks like it's a love letter from somebody to somebody, right? To Sai from Anna. So,
Seems like it.
yeah. But anyway, we can add that to wares too and sell it. And of course, merchants tend to mark things down, but, you know, like basically at this stage of the game, you want to pick up everything that you possibly can that you can sell, right? And if you check inside barrels and things like that, well, you can sometimes find gold. You can sometimes find thieves' tools. And Thieves' Tools, actually opening locks works a little bit differently in this game than what I'm familiar with in the older games too, and probably what you're familiar with, in that in the old games, if a thief tried to pick a lock, you only got one opportunity to do it.
Yep.
And if you failed, you had to gain a level as a thief in order to be able to try again. Whereas here, what happens is you can collect lockpick tools, right?
Yep.
And what happens is if you try to pick a lock and fail, well, then your lockpick tool will break. And then, and the same thing with trap disarming, right? You have trap disarm toolkits. And if you fail, then your tools will break. And but you can try again if you have more tools, right? So, for example, with this door, which is locked, I could try to lockpick it, right? And if I succeed, I can open the door, and if I fail, my lockpick tools will break. But I'm not going to try and do that yet, because this is actually a ruin, and it's probably a bad idea to go in there with only 2 people, right? We need to finish picking up, we need to find Lae'zel again. Oh, look, there's another dead guy. Oh, he doesn't have anything. There's another dead guy. Okay, so, okay. Anything over here? Barrel. Some gold in it. Okay. Good enough. So I guess we'll head on up here. And we can do things like we can sneak, like basically using the hide command like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the red shaded areas there, that where the shading will change. That is areas that
it's like the cone of vision.
Yeah, exactly. It's the field of vision of possible enemies, right? And so anyway, they just saw me, right? And for some reason they all get to go first, but they're far enough away that they have to dash.
Yep.
And basically what that does is that they are not allowed to...
they use both their actions on movement.
Yeah, they use both of their actions on one move. So I'm going to use Guiding Bolt here, which uses a spell slot, but it potentially could do up to 24 points of damage. If she hits, right? Okay, so that was successful. And then, as a second action or a bonus action, she can cast, like some spells are activated by bonus actions as well as a spell slot, right?
Yeah.
So if there's a member of the party that's been hurt, she could cast this, or she could cast this spell, which would give, whoever receives the spell a +2 bonus to armor class, right?
Yep.
And if we look at Shadowheart's character sheet here, you'll see that her armor class now is 18, right?
Yep.
So I guess her armor class must be normally 16, because she's got an okay dexterity score, and she's able to wear medium armor, so
yep.
she's wearing this chainmail shirt, which gives her a base of 13, and then I'm guessing that her dexterity gives her 14, right? And then that spell must be giving her another further bonus, right? But anyway, can't really do anything else right now, so that's the end of her turn. See, and if you look at my character's character sheet, I have an armor class of 17, but I get a +4 bonus to armor due to my dexterity, right?
Yep.
And of course you can also get a number of other special bonuses. So I'm going to use Flurry of Blows again here, because I think I need to make sure I kill this thing. And then I can use a bonus action, and some of these are associated with the weapon I'm using, like this cone-shaped effect is associated with that
crossbow, yeah,
that hand crossbow that I have, because that's what magic weapons do a lot of in this game, is they will give you the ability to cast a low-level spell of some sort or something like that, right? But what I like to use is the Vampire Claw attack, which basically is a vampire ability that does a base of 1 point of damage per level plus your unarmed attack modifier. And of course, monks have an ungodly high
unarmed attack
modifier. So this, at higher levels, like level 8, 10, 12, becomes like my most devastating attack, right?
Yep.
You fight well. Perhaps our survival isn't such a distant prospect.
Yeah. So anyway, we can kind of loot these. Oh, look, there's a intellect devourer brain. And if I collect enough of these, well, we can do alchemy with them too, right? And that's accessed out of this thing. So you go into alchemy, and first you have to make extracts, and you need 3 items of the same thing to make an extract. And then, of course, you've got different, potions, elixirs, coatings, grenades, and so on that you make using these extracts that you made, right? Which is why you might notice that I'll go around and I'll pick flowers and that kind of thing.
Oh God. We're gonna be going through that in this too?
Well, yeah, because alchemy. Okay, silver locket. We'll add that to wares, and we'll take that, and we'll add that rapier to wares. Horseradish. Okay, I think we can send that to camp. That sounds like a food thing. And then we'll climb up here. One thing about it is that all characters have the ability to climb climbable surfaces. Okay? In this game. Which is something that, like other games that are sort of what I consider to be contemporary to this one are missing, right? Basic poison. Okay, well, I don't use poison very much with this character. I use poison quite a bit if I'm playing a rogue character.
Well, I guess it's something to sell, right?
Or give, like, later on, we'll be recruiting a rogue character into the group, right? And that's the thing, too, is that you can only have up to 4 people in the active party at a time, which is, I guess what the game is balanced for, but it's a bit of a nuisance because, sometimes you have to have a specific character with you in order to accomplish certain goals, right? And that can throw the balance of your party off a little bit, because then you could end up with a party that's a little bit top heavy on fighters or magic users or whatever, right?
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons that I kind of like the monk character too, because the monk can fill the rogue slot, but the monk is also an effective enough fighter to fill the fighter slot, because you do need a heavy in your party, right? Like, if you're going to be successful, you need somebody who can, like you say, stick the pointy end into the bad guy, yep, kind of thing. Yep. You need somebody like that in your group. You need a tank who can dish out damage, right? But anyway. Oh, I could give that helmet to Shadowheart, actually. So, helmets, I'm not sure whether this is a uniformly done thing, but apparently what wearing this leather helmet does is it gives the wearer a +1 to dexterity-based saving throws. So I'm going to give it to Shadowheart. And we'll switch down here and we'll equip it. So Shadowheart now gets a helmet, right?
Yep.
But you can also do things like you can hide during dialogue or hide helmet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing. I like that.
I've got a long road ahead.
Anyway, we also have a level up, so we should level up. So I get an increase in health, and you get basically the same stepped increase in health. I get an additional key point, something called unarmored movement, which increases my movement speed. Right? So that's one of the things that's big about the monks too, is you have a tremendous amount of mobility compared to other characters, right?
And you get a crap load of passives when you level up.
Yeah, and, well, this isn't passives, this is something I can activate that makes attack rolls against me have disadvantage, right?
Okay.
Or gives me the advantage on dexterity throws. So if I, we'll get into that situation where I've killed all the enemies that are within reach, but I don't have enough movement to close and attack another enemy, I could elect to do patient defense, and then that way the next enemy that comes up to close with me has a harder time hitting me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also, this is an additional dash type of thing. Or I can jump, and jump no longer, like jumping takes up a bonus action as well, right? And the same thing, disengage, it gives me an additional action to disengage. And disengage is what you have to do if you're in melee distance of an enemy and you decide that you want to move somewhere to attack someone else, or climb a ladder, or do some other action, right? Without them being able to make what's called an opportunity attack, right? Anyway, Shadowheart gains a couple of special abilities, and I can kind of select some new spells for her. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this one, because you have to be within touch distance. So that one is of kind of limited use.
Yep.
This one you can cast on any ally within 60 feet, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this spell called Sanctuary, which is pretty handy, because if a member of your party gets knocked down and you bring them back up using a scroll, well, then the very next thing that's going to happen is that character's going to get hit again, and then they're going to be down again, right? So if you bring them back up using the scroll and then cast Sanctuary on them right away, well, then at least enemies can't attack them with, like, missiles or melee attacks, right?
Yeah.
So long as that spell remains in place, which gives the, like, raised up character a chance to drink a potion or whatever, right?
Whatever they got to do to get back into fighting form.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a melee distance attack, but magical attack. And this is sort of the distance magical attack, right? And then that's a defensive one. So I think that's what we're going to go with for now. Because Shadowheart is not really a hugely skilled melee combatant, but she does have some pretty powerful, like offensive spell capability, right?
Yep. Well, that's kind of the cleric thing in general, though, right? Like they're passable in melee combat, but
yeah. Well, I would venture to say, oh look, this is Astarion. I would venture to say that clerics did not really improve a great deal in melee combat in this version compared to the earlier versions. Mm-hmm. I would say that they're probably about the same, right?
Something they can do, something they're not really great at.
Yeah.
There. Can you see it?
Just
and
a dumb bore. You're relieved.
Oh, there, I just succeeded in an ability check. Well, if this is a robbery, you're off to a bad start.
I just need information. I saw you scuttling about on the ship. You're in league with them, aren't you? Those tentacle. Ah!
Your mind twists. You're looking out of unfamiliar eyes, prowling dark, busy streets. You try to hold the memory, but it fades to the worm. The light, the fear.
What was that? What's going on?
Well,
The worm. Of course.
how are we doing for time
That
here anyway?
explains things.
We're at about an hour and a half.
Okay.
And to think,
Well,
I
we'll
was ready
finish
to decorate
gathering the
ground
party, I
with
guess, and
ornaments.
then maybe we'll call that an episode, eh?
Apologies.
All right. So glad to see we're all caught up.
Indeed we are. Please, allow me to introduce myself. My name's Astarion. I was in Baldur's Gate when those beasts snatched me.
Okay.
A pleasure. So, do you know anything about these worms?
Well, you know about as
suppose
much
it's
as
not
I do.
Exactly common knowledge. These worms are already affecting me. I can feel it. Now, what to do about it?
Okay. Well, how about if you go to my camp?
I was ready to go this
See,
alone,
Astarion is a
but
rogue
maybe
character,
sticking with the herd isn't a bad idea.
but while
Safety
he's,
in
like rogues are not terrible at
And
hack
I
and
hate to
slashing
turn down an
combat.
invitation.
Basically, what happens is,
All right.
in the,
Maybe I'll see you there.
best party
Good
balance, you have your character, and then you have Shadowheart, and then you have a mage character, and then you have to have a fourth character, and that fourth character rotates in and out depending on the situation. Right?
I see.
Because, like I said, you need to have certain characters in your party at certain times.
Even if injured. Best be careful.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill it right now.
Monster. Death is too good for it.
And we'll pick up its stuff. So, anyway, like I was saying, you need to have certain characters in your party at certain times. And so that fourth slot is the one that you're going to rotate in and out, right? So sometimes it'll be Astarion, sometimes it'll be Lizelle, sometimes it'll be, you know, like one of the other companions that you pick up along the way, right?
What's going on with that room? Looks unstable somehow.
You approach the sigil on the stone. Magic glitters and swirls from it erratically, as if malfunctioning. It looks slightly dangerous.
Okay, we'll touch the sigil because we have a tendency to do rash things like that.
A hand? Anyone?
Okay, so you have different options here to what to do, depending on what your character class is, right?
Yep.
But you'll notice that I have advantage here, so I must be standing in the shadows somewhere. Yeah, see, slip into darkness.
Yep.
That's it! Go on! Keep pulling!
And this is Gale, and Gale is actually a pretty important figure in the storyline as well, right?
I see.
Hello. I'm Gale of Waterdeep. Apologies. I'm usually better at this.
At introductions.
At magic. Say, but I know you, don't I? In a manner of speaking. You were on the North as well.
Yep.
And I can only assume you too were on the receiving end of a rather unwelcome insertion in the ocular region.
That's one way to put it.
Yep.
The insertee we speak of, this parasite, are you aware that after a period of excruciating gestation, it will turn us into mind flayers? It's a process known as ceramorphosis, and let me assure you, it is to be avoided. You don't happen to be a cleric by any chance, do you? A doctor? Surgeon? Uncannily adroit with a knitting needle?
Yeah, Gale is one of the more
seem to know
fun
enough
characters,
about our condition to
actually.
realize
I
it's
like
beyond
Gale.
most clerics' skills.
Most, no doubt. But I find myself hoping to be in the presence of the few.
Gale is the
You don't happen to be one of them.
typical mage that meddles in things that he should not, you know?
It looks like we're both starved for answers.
You know that old expression,
We're
just
most
because you
certainly going
can,
to need
it
a
doesn't
healer,
mean that you
and
should.
soon, too. How
Right?
about we lend each other a helping hand once more and look for a healer together?
Okay, so you can join
Most
up Gale.
excellent.
Gale is the
Parasite
other
shares
character
a
that is like a
parasite
party mainstay,
heart.
like he's in the
Something
party
to that
all
effect.
the time,
Oh.
right?
But before you think you're about to embark on a journey with most ill-mannered a man, thank you for pulling me out of that stone. It was an act of foresighted kindness, I assure you.
Yeah.
I have the feeling ample opportunities will present themselves for me to return the favor.
Okay, so now Gale can level up as well.
Direct me.
So when characters are not active with you in the party, they kind of level up on their own.
Yep.
And so Gale, we're going to make him an evocation specialist, which means that if he tosses a fireball into a bunch of enemies and you happen to be standing a little too close, then he can create a pocket of safety for you so that you don't get friendly fired by the fireball, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of a good thing. And now we get to pick spells, and Magic Missile in 5th edition, as far as I can tell, Magic Missile is one of the best low-level spells in the game, right? And another one that's really good is called Shield. And basically, they have this other type of sort of action called a reaction. And if you have certain special abilities or certain spells prepared, then you can use those in a reaction. And what happens is the shield is if somebody attacks him, like if they try to hit him with a sword or shoot him with a bow or whatever, then he can use a reaction to activate the shield spell, which then improves his armor class by 5.
Nice.
And it also prevents him from taking damage from Magic Missile. So now we can take a look at his prepared spells. And Sleep has been kind of changed around a little bit too. But basically what I found is Sleep is not terribly useful because I tried it out and I put a group of enemies to sleep, like 3 of them. But the 4th guy woke up one of the guys, and then the guy that just got woke up used his action to wake up the next guy.
And they just all woke each other up.
And they basically all just woke each other up. Like it was a chain reaction, like a row of dominoes, right?
Yeah.
So I'd rather have something that I can use that will more or less directly kill my enemies, you know, than, you know, Sleep, which seems like it's sort of a half measure kind of thing. And Grease is another spell that I don't tend to carry. Like, I'd rather carry Shield because you actually get grenade-type missiles that you can use with, like, grease pots and that kind of thing. Like, jars full of grease that you can throw to make a surface slippery, right? So, Shield and Magic Missile are 2 very, very good low-level spells that can be used to take down just about any enemy, right? But anyway, we haven't quite gathered our entire party together, but we see the last one right there. But I guess we're out of time, so...
Oh, we can pause and then come back.
Okay.
And we're back.
Yes. Whoop. Not sure what's going on there, but every now and then the mouse tries to take over. Because this game can be played with mouse and keyboard too, if you're so inclined.
Twice as ugly.
The thing's dangerous. Leave it for the goblins to kill.
This is a player race too that I never saw before. These horned people called tieflings.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember them from one of the later editions.
Yeah, but they didn't exist in the versions of the game that I'm familiar with. Okay, well, I guess we'll use intimidation. And I get advantage again, and I also, there's this thing called guidance, which gives me a variable bonus, and what this is it's kind of a cantrip that Shadowheart can cast. So if Shadowheart is with me in the party, anytime I go to do a ability check of some sort, I can use guidance, you know, as a benefit that I get from her, right? Which is yet another reason why it's good to have Shadowheart in the party, right?
Come, Emissa. Now.
Enough gawking. Get me down.
Say please.
Never.
So it took me a while to figure out how to get her down because there isn't any crank or anything like that. What I figured out eventually is that you make a ranged attack on the bottom of this cage that she's in, right? And that does some damage to it, which...
all your senses. Auspicious. But the longer we wait, the more it consumes. My people possess the cure for this infection. I must find a creche. You will join me.
Careful.
Okay.
She obviously sees your kindness as weakness. Don't let her take advantage.
Okay. Alright, well, let's find the creche.
From Creche Kalir. Few know such fortune. Call me Lae'zel.
I'll trust your judgment, but I won't trust her. Not until I've gotten the measure of her.
You've a sharp tongue, elf. Would that your mind proved its equal.
Half elf. I suppose the finer details are lost on a creature like you.
Come. The Horned Ones mentioned a camp. One there, this Zoru, has seen Githyanki. A creche must be near. We will ask this Zoru where he has seen my kin.
Okay. So now we've got all the people in our party. And Lae'zel can also level up. And she gets what's called an action surge, and if you spend it, I think you get one per combat. It gives her a bonus action, so you can make an additional attack or something like that, right?
Let's move.
But anyway, now we can do the one more thing that's important. We need a shovel. So we're just going to make a short side trip over this way, where I know that there's a shovel. So for party balance, this is basically the party makeup that I like. Right?
We should check it out, but be careful.
So, a couple of frontline fighters, a cleric, and a wizard.
Yep. And then when you run across a pile of dirt like this, you can whip your shovel out of your back pocket and shovel a couple of times and a chest pops out. And when you open the chest, there's usually good stuff in there, right?
Okay.
But you have to pass a perception ability check kind of thing.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll finish up this episode by just doing this little encounter here, which is kind of...
Open the bloody gate! Nobody gets in! Zevlor's orders! That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
What's going on?
Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now! You let goblins here? Where is the druid? Please, there's no time. By the 9 hells, open the gates!
So, individual goblins are pretty easy to kill, but they do have leader types that are tougher. And they also tend to have pets like that thing there, right?
Yep.
And also goblins can have spellcasters too. And the goblin spellcasters tend to be the far more dangerous than the run-of-the-mill goblins are, right?
Damnable roach. Provoke the blade. And suffer its sting.
Well, isn't he a fancy pants?
Yeah, he is. Okay, so here we go. We came up on the back here. If we'd have come in a different way, then these guys would have high ground advantage on us. But as it turns out now, we're at the same level as they are. And so I'm gonna use the vampire bite on that one. It looks like I bit him to death.
Yep.
And what that does is it gives me a status called happy. And it means that when I'm happy, I can do certain things that I can't do otherwise. And also I can regenerate a small amount of health every turn and stuff like that too, right?
Ah.
Yeah. So now I'm going to walk up here to this guy, because I have enough movement to do that. And I'm going to use my vampire claw attack on him. So there you go. I just eliminated
2 threats.
2 enemies all by myself. And then basically I've just got like it shows that I could use these, but I can't, right? I don't have enough, like it requires a action or a bonus action in order to be able to use those, right? And then of course everybody else according to their initiative number. This works initiative works pretty similarly to the old game, I find. Basically each side rolls a number and then they would add any dexterity modifiers or penalties or whatever to the roll. Each individual on each side would. So you'll end up with some individuals from one side being able to act, and then other individuals from the other side act, and so on and so forth, right? But anyway, I've got high ground, which gives me an advantage to my attack rolls here, right? And this guy is a spellcaster, so I'm going to try and kill him. And that guiding bolt, apparently it's some sort of radiant damage, but there also seems to be a fire element to it, right? Because that guy was not happy about being burned to death.
My path be true.
So now, I guess Lae'zel will have to shoot a crossbow because we're too far away from these guys to be able to do anything. Oh, look at that. Hit him. So as you can see, there's sort of like a white circle that appears, right? And that anything within that white circle is in range, right? But anyway, can't do anything else right now. Oh, Zevlor's going to blow the horn, which gives a rally effect. And then we're going to move down here with Gale, who happens to be dead last in the initiative game here. But we can cast a magic missile with Gale. And we're going to aim at Who we're going to aim at? We're going to aim at this guy because he's already been hit. And Gale can fire 3 missiles right now, which is enough to kill that guy. See, magic missile, the way it worked with in the older games, you'd get 1 missile, right? And then you would get a second missile at like level 3 or something like that, and then another missile at level 5 and another. But in this game, it appears that you get 3 missiles like right away.
Yeah.
Right? So magic missile is an awesome spell. It's very powerful for a low-level spell. And you can take out almost any enemy. Like any single enemy with it, right? Which is why I prefer, why I like the magic missile spell quite a lot. So anyway, I can use some, I'm not sure if I have enough movement to make it down here. Looks like maybe I do. Okay. So I'm going to move right down here to melee distance. And then I'm going to attack this thing here, and I'm going to use Flurry of Blows. And hit it a couple of times, and then I'm going to use my Vampire Claw attack. And as you can see, even at level 2, Monk is a one-man wrecking crew, right? There, see that archer, she used her action to shoot, and then she used her bonus action to take a healing potion, right? That's what that was.
Yep.
So we'll move down this way with Shadowheart here a little bit. I'm not sure if there's anybody within range now to fire a spell at. But she's used up her spell slots already, so basically all she can use now is just cantrips. So we'll try shooting a firebolt at this guy since he's in range. And the firebolt will eventually do more damage at higher levels as well. These abilities do grow in strength as the character grows in strength. Anyway, we're still... One of the disadvantages of coming at this battle this way is that you're kind of far away from everything, right? But that's okay. We'll soften them up a little bit. Okay. I'm not sure how many enemies we got left. I think we've only got 1. Yeah, just this guy, right? So we'll move a little closer here.
Of course.
And we'll cast a magic missile again. And we'll cast them at this guy. And we'll go 1, 2, 3. And that ends the battle.
Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate!
So, anyway, that's probably good enough for this episode. We had a chance to get into a little bit of a battle and that sort of thing. This battle actually is fairly easy.
Yep.
But the learning curve definitely does get steeper, especially when you start running into things at, when you get to be level 3, level 4 kind of thing. All of a sudden, some of the enemies, especially archery types, because they have these specialized arrows and stuff, like I have one, I found one. Well, your enemies can have things like this too, right? And those types of attacks can be absolutely devastating, and if you get your party gets hit by a volley of those things, if you got 3 or 4 enemies that are all armed like that way, you can be wiped off the map before you even have a chance to shoot back, right?
Wow.
So, anyway. But that was the beginning. We got started. When we come back, we'll, I guess, get into the druid encampment here, and but I guess that'll be for next time, because I think what we're going to do is we're going to probably do this maybe once a week, but we'll do it back to back with an episode of Pool of Radiance.
Ah, that would be interesting.
Because I talk about the old game, and Pool of Radiance is actually an accurate representation of first edition rules.
That it is, yes.
Way back from like 1979, 1980 kind of thing. And so it'd be interesting maybe for people to be able to watch and compare modern D&D to ancient D&D, right? Like from 45 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
Back in our time.
Because this game has actually existed in one form or another
for a very long time.
Since about 1975.
Yeah.
So,
you even have some of the original materials, too.
Well, yeah, because I was a teenager in 1975, and me and some of my friends played the game.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. But it was a much different game than the modern game is, I have to say. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not terribly familiar with the 5th edition rules. I have never read a book or anything like that on it, but having played this game a little bit, you know, if it's an accurate representation of the 5th edition rules, well, then the game has changed a great deal. But anyway, I guess that'll be it for this week. So I hope you all enjoyed it.
Indeed.
So until next time,
I'm RecV5.
And I am Sandman99.
Have a good one.